Hello, hello, hello. My name is Ines. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is where we can safely feel the feels and talk about all things spirituality. So today's episode is going to be how spirituality is like a video game. Yay! Okay, so spirituality is more so based on the soul and its need to experience a certain life in order for the soul to grow and expand. The human vessel, being in a human body, is just being in an avatar. So basically what happens after your life here on earth, you move up to the next realm. The next realm, you're not doing it in a human body, you're doing it at a soul level. So it's all very much unseen energy based. And part of playing the spiritual video game is participating in the unseen energies. When you are in a human vessel and you are doing energy work, energy healing, participating in the unseen energies, you are actually more powerful being anchored in a human vessel on earth than you are just being a spirit on earth. When you are in a human vessel, you are anchored, and there's a role that gets played between your avatar, your soul, and its connection to earth. And that grows the power of energy, or it grows how powerful, or determines how powerful you are on an energetic level. So basically, the more connected you are to earth, your human vessel, and your soul self, aka your higher self, the more powerful you're going to be wielding energy on this earth. So what happens, kind of like the process of on a soul level, basically, if you want to talk about it as judgment of the underworld, or I know there's like a passage of the Milky Way for souls that some people believe in. Basically what I see is you go at a soul level, you go into a review of your past life. There are certain tasks that you have to do in this lifetime, in this timeline, that allows your soul to properly progress. There might be some things, like some relationships you need to have that will help your soul grow at a certain level. When we're talking about energy and soul and we're kind of transferring it back to like a human form, you want to think emotions. So if there's any sort of emotions your soul hasn't experienced, you are most likely going to have that as an obstacle or a level in the video game. Basically, this part of underworld judgment helps determine what will allow your soul to grow and expand. And if there's any karmic responsibility you have from a past life, like say you did something bad, you have to have a karmic balance in your next life. So this is where the idea of if somebody's been a really bad person and they were privileged, then they're going to come back a lot less privileged, and they're going to, in some way, shape, or form, have to make up for being so mean in the past life, just as an example. So once you kind of review your contract and you review what your next process is, I think the one thing we have to understand is that a lot of souls, when they come to Earth to play this Earth School game, they need to have some sort of break. There needs to be a break where they reconnect back to their true soul selves. So basically, like, their soul goes to their home planet for a little bit. I think what's happened in the past, and this is how we've gotten so stuck in shadows, is that in the past, we kind of rushed from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. And that didn't allow our soul to properly refresh itself. So that pushed us into more of a shadow only avatar. There's also a lot of things with manipulated energy. So there are souls on this earth who are stuck and need to go home for healing, and they haven't really had a choice, and some of them haven't even been able to go through the whole underworld process. I have this really big inner knowing that the underworld is in fact coming here to Earth School, because so many souls and so much karma has been missed because of the manipulation of energy on Earth by a certain group of people that other people kind of can't really do anything about. That's a story for another time. Basically, once you are done going over your contract, creating a new contract, you then create your avatar. Your avatar is going to be based on whatever lessons you still have left to learn, whatever levels you have to pass, whatever emotions you have to feel and understand and expand on and heal, and etc. So when you think about an avatar, you also want to think about, in a video game, in the avatar, you also want to consider what kind of video game you're playing. Are you playing The Sims, or are you playing Minecraft, or are you playing Call of Duty? I don't know video games very well, so you kind of just pick your own video game. This will also help determine the kind of life you want to live and the kind of way you want to grow your soul. Sometimes the video game you play is determined based on the level of expansion you want your soul to be versus where it's at right now, and the steps and the levels that it needs to pass in order to get to where you want your soul expansion and growth to be. So there's a lot of, it's like a formula, right? So there's a lot of details within the formula that determine your contract, your avatar, the life you're gonna live, etc. And this is all based on a soul level. So my next part is, if you're a parent, please understand that the best way for you to support your children and their kind of soul purpose and expansion is to not prohibit anything that they want to learn and encourage their curiosity. When we're a parent, we are literally allowing a soul to come, pass through, and experience a life cycle. And there's a magic to it all in itself. And I feel like part of the reason why we've actually devolved spiritually is because as parents, we've been very much like, well, that's not how you're supposed to do it. We have to do it this way. You can't marry that person. You can't move there. You can't go to school. You can't study this. You can't do that. And we have blocked the soul's access or the soul's path to whatever it is that it needs to do, however it needs to expand. We have blocked that access. Hence the being devolved part. Now, when you've created your avatar, once you've entered your avatar, it really depends on what your purpose is, how you want to expand. Right now, at this point of time, it's a little bit trickier than it normally would be, just because this is kind of like an Earthback mission. And I have talked about this in the past. This kind of ties into the matrix, capitalism, colonization. And I would decolonize your mind before you even get into spirituality. So before you start playing the video game, you're gonna want to decolonize. That's actually gonna help you figure out what's familiar to you from your past lives. That's kind of how you start remembering your past lives, is through decolonization. That's how I did it. And the biggest reason why is because I was learning a lot about different cultures, and I was starting to find the common denominator in colonization and the importance of spirituality. Once you start decolonizing and putting pieces together, you're going to see the bigger picture. And depending on what part of this mission you're in, you're going to feel your heart called to something specific through decolonizing. And I want people to understand that spirituality isn't just love and light or healing emotions or whatever. It is, spirituality to me is the union of mental, physical, and emotional health. So part 2 is the actually playing the spiritual video game. So visual meditation. I visualize everything. When I am going through ascension and doing shadow work and doing healing or experiencing certain emotions or learning certain lessons or whatever it is, I visualize everything, like absolutely everything. When I do energy work, it's through visualization. And basically, when you start getting really good at the visualization, you are literally visualizing different parts of video games, and it's like virtual reality. The biggest thing is in your mind, if you can picture yourself as an avatar and you can do a lot of things in your mind with control and patience and grounding, that is you becoming more energetically powerful. Therefore, more spiritually powerful. So in spirituality, the reason you never want to compare yourself to other people, especially compare yourself to other people who you feel like are more successful or higher up than you, is because you all have different contracts. You all have different soul missions. In this peak energetic time right now, it's a little bit more complex and a little bit trickier because everybody on this earth is serving some sort of purpose. In regards to playing the spiritual video game now, it's really all about reconnecting to your past lives and integrating your higher self into your present self. And there's a lot of healing to be done with this process. I want you guys to start visualizing your soul self or even your human self in your meditations more often. I have started doing visual meditations to help you guys with this. This is going to be the easiest way for you to actually do the ascensions, to do the spiritual energy work, to learn energy healing, to do energy healing yourself. One thing I like to do with my avatar is, in my mind, is do kind of like aura protection shields around it. And this helps me create kind of like a filter for myself. So anytime I have any sort of shadows in my mind, it's a lot easier for me to stay protected from allowing the shadows to fully kind of dig into my brain. I don't want to do this part.